share my screen. So hello guys, I am Catherine. I am the UX lead at Sitel, Hewlett Packard Enterprise. I'm not sure how to phrase that yet. I'm still getting used to that. I wanted to just take some time to introduce myself to you as part of the community, and also share some insights with you on a survey we did to kind of get an understanding of what some of the important use cases were for our users. We shared the survey on social media channels, and we got 21 respondents, which is great, a great first stab at this for me. So what I'm going to share with you is just part of the results that were kind of interesting to us as a team as we gathered the information. The first piece here is that the question was, are you planning to host SPIRE identified workloads on Kubernetes? And the vast majority, as you can see here, 50% answered yes, that most will be, and 20% will be running at least some. And I think this confirmed a lot of what we assumed, and we are working on some enhanced capabilities. And Andres, would you like to speak to what we're doing around that?
Go for it. I'll interject if necessary. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and kind of tell what, I mean, you've kind of already talked about the roadmap, but was there anything specific that you wanted to mention to this particular point from a product standpoint? Because to me, this was really validating to some of what, some of the assumptions that I was making.
Sorry, you caught me off guard, to be completely honest. I wasn't listening to what you were saying, so if you can brief me in, yeah, certainly. Just recap and I can elaborate.
Yeah, just what we're working on to enhance Kubernetes within SPIRE.
Yes, there are a number of specific items. One, several of us throughout the day have talked about it, which is the work led by Jonathan and Faisal around a CRD-based workload registrar. In addition to that, we're documenting the agent registrar. We are improving the agent and server install experience. One, by providing a simplified configuration file where you can see commented out the best practices for the different platforms. Then we're also pulling in Helm charts that folks at Hewlett Packard and at Grey Matter have produced in order to simplify the installation experience. In addition to that, for the next quarter, we're looking at productionizing Kubernetes deployments. This largely stemming from Matthew McFerrin. If you are deploying a Kubernetes cluster and you're following the security recommended practices for hardening, those often don't jive well with SPIRE. So making sure we make those two work well, and particularly elaborate a little bit further on concrete guidance on even fine-tuning that further once the SPIRE is into the mix. So that's all part of making SPIRE tighter with Kubernetes.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, and so the next insight of note that we found was that 80% of customers were planning to deploy outside of the cloud. And I'm going to share with you guys if you want to dig into more of the details here at the end, but these were just things as a team that we found really interesting, and that some of these we were expecting, some of these we may not have been expecting, but overall, I think it's been really helpful for us to see things like this to be able to help guide our roadmaps moving forward. And I think this was one of the more interesting ones that we may not have been expecting, that 21% of the respondents were planning to host workloads in Hadoop. I think I think this was one of the ones that was a little surprising to us, but definitely useful to actually understand. The next insight is that 62% plan to authenticate running outside of a service mesh to Kafka. I think, and someone on the team can contradict me if I am wrong, but I think this was another one that slightly surprised us in terms of the percentage and the number. The survey had a lot more questions, but those were the ones that I think we really just wanted to highlight for you guys that I think gave us some important direction and important results. So this is a link here to the full readout of all the questions and all the responses if you want to take a look. And I'll post this as well in the Community Dairy channel on Slack, so you'll have access to it. But my job is to make sure we are building out, you know, a very user-centric, user-friendly product. So what I'm doing right now is interviewing people who have worked with or are currently evaluating SPIFFE and SPIRE to kind of understand what your needs are and what your pain points are and, you know, just your experiences with it to be able to understand what we can do moving forward. And also moving forward, I will be trying to send out surveys. I won't say on a regular basis. You won't be getting one every week or every month. However, we definitely will be coming to you for feedback more. And if you're in the Slack channel, you might have seen this survey in the announcements. If not, that's where we'll be posting as we continue to seek feedback. If you are particularly interested in either being on our survey list or have some time and you would be able to talk to me about your experience, there's a link at the bottom and I'll definitely post that in the channel as well. But that's just a little bit from me. I definitely am becoming more involved with SPIFFE and SPIRE as really trying to understand what is going on and what is needed from you guys that we can help accomplish.
Awesome.